Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Toffees on today, November 17th, 2014. A bit of a late start today due to some tech stuff this morning, but we are up and running with your Dota 2 morning show, which it is still morning on the West Coast, so we will take it. For those of you watching live, thank you for being here. To those on the podcast, as always, we appreciate your support. Remember, if you want to support the show, you can head over to Toffees. It's patreon.com/Toffees. That's patreon.com/Toffees. And you get everything from viewer games, supporter games, sit-down chats with me on Skype. You can kick me over your ideas. You can also get mugs and t-shirts. T-shirts will be released as soon as we hit our $75 stretch goal, which we are very, very close to. So make sure you check that out. It is a good time and always nice to show some support. That said, you can also support me by going over to @Toffees_Dota2, by following our SoundCloud or our YouTube channels, or pretty much any avenue by which we release the show. And of course, just by listening. So we appreciate you being here today, as we always do. Now, one last thing is, go ahead and make sure you join the chat group over on Steam. That's coffeew/Toffees. You can join by just typing it into the search bar, and when you're part of that chat group, that's where we pull viewer games from, things like that. So if you are a supporter and you want to play with me and kind of have a good time, head over, join the chat channel. That's what it's all about. Now let's get into the actual news for the day. The first news story up on the pro news front, and one of the only ones, is Bulldog is taking a break for winter. So all of this brouhaha went down about Alliance when Loda and Ake announced that they were attending the LAN finals with some other players who aren't normally on the roster of Alliance. And then Ake basically said, I'm going to go ahead and make a blog post to clarify things. He did. Made a massive blog post over on tv6.sc. It's just easier just to search the Reddit or go search Aki on Google to find it. But essentially, they're playing with Hani, Ace, and Minuts instead of the normal crew. The reason for that is Chessie's still hurt. They don't know what they're going to do about that stand-in situation. Bulldog said he was just tired of playing with stand-ins continuously and would rather just take a break than continue to struggle to get the win. So he's going to take the winter off. They've got stand-ins in those plays, so Loda and Aki are going to lead the team into things like Dream League Sweden. So just because Bulldog's not on the roster does not mean he's off of Alliance, according to Ake and the rest of the crew right now. So let's make sure that we're aware of that. He is enjoying a little bit of a break from Pro Dota right now. So kudos to him. Tournament news that you might need to keep. Well, the first one a lot of folks aren't going to care about, but it's interesting to note, is that Team Malaysia was able to win the WinForce tournament that they're currently playing in Southeast Asia over Myth Trust 3-0 without Mushi. So a lot of folks thought when Team Malaysia lost Mushi, that'd be the end of it for them. They do not throw the towel in. Instead, they go and they win a LAN tournament for a total of, let's see, $1,500. So not a massive amount of money. It did come after a disappointing elimination from the summit, but at the end of the day, they can still win. They're not a bad team. Yes, Mushi's amazing, but Team Malaysia is still going to be able to represent the SCA scene down there in the interim. Next one, C9 wins Redemption. The video works. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look for the Whole New World video from C9. It's hilarious. It's a little outrageous. However, it garnered votes, man. C9 wins the Redemption. That means they're going to the LAN at Summit 2. AUI 2000 posted first time not second place in life, I think. And that's pretty funny because that tells me that at least C9 has a sense of humor about a lot of the situations they've been finding themselves in. And that's exactly it. C9 has been the queens of the ball, the bridesmaids, but never the brides. They win a couple here and there, but at the end of the day, they need to close the deal. And they really need to take home a big LAN win. Not only because I want to see some bleached hair, but at the end of the day, because I think it's time for them to get that. They've played very well. They've had a great season. I'm glad to see the Redemption vote, but it's going to be a really tough field. Hopefully, they can make something happen. Next one up, also in Summit American news, Not Today advances out of the American qualifiers. That was the last qualifier to end. It wrapped up yesterday, I believe it was, the day before. Not Today beats Complexity Gaming 3-0, which was a little bit surprising to me, and I should have known that. I guess, we don't follow Not Today as much as we used to. They're sort of resurging out of the South American scene. Complexity has been playing very, very well lately. In fact, they took a game off of EG in Dota Pit, but when you go back and look at the numbers in Summit America, Not Today won their first match against Narvi US 2-0. They beat Complexity in the best-of-3 semifinals 2-0. And then they beat Complexity again in the best-of-5 after Complexity had fought its way back through Leviathan to beat... They beat Complexity 3-0 in the finals. So they didn't drop a game the entire time, which makes me think that maybe they can do a good job of taking a stand in the actual live event. So we'll see how Not Today does, but congratulations for them on the applying. All right, so next piece of information, we're going over to the Dream League Sweden. All right, so right now, LGD, we covered this last week, in IG were unable to get their visas. They were denied, so they will not be going to Dream League in Sweden. Phoenix and Alliance both are jump in, throwing lifelines, if you will, to come back and play. So Alliance will be taking their new season. We'll call it the seasonal roster. The Alliance seasonal roster will be attending Sweden. So they're there right now. And then obviously MVP Phoenix got the other one, so they should have an interesting run. A little bit difficult, but that said, those pieces in the actual lineups for the event, it's finally MVP Phoenix, who actually just took a game off, 2 games off VP Polar. So not bad. First game's in, they take some wins. VP Polar, Team Tinker, 4 anchors, Cloud9, EG, Alliance, and Virtus Pro. So this is a pretty stacked tournament in terms of EG, Cloud9 should be feuding it out, Team Tinker. There's no secret here, which is, I think, a little bit bummer for everybody, but it gives a chance for some other teams to really step in and show their stripes. It's a big prize, so it should be a good tournament, and it is underway, I believe. Yeah, as we speak, Virtus Pro and Alliance is going to start in 7 minutes, so that's for the live show. If you're watching on the podcast, don't tune in and expect it in 7 minutes, because this is a pre-record. That said, though, Dream League going to be going all day today. Games pretty gosh darn constantly. Rolling over to the next piece of news, the Synergy Cybersport League. This is one that Joey Dota's been covering, but it hasn't been getting a lot of exposure. It's been going kind of early in the morning. It just hasn't gotten a lot of the looks that I think it deserves. It's a good tournament. That said, Team Malaysia and VP Polar have not been able to make it to the Synergy League LAN Finals. They had to pull out. M5 and Power Rangers will be replacing them. So Moscow 5 and Power Rangers. And it's a good and the bad, right? These are smaller teams. They deserve a little extra exposure. The problem is Moscow 5 just has not been impressing lately. Power Rangers, on the other hand, has. So the good for me is that Power Rangers gets a chance to go to a LAN final and show what they can actually do when you don't have to deal with lag. Moscow 5 will go as well. I don't know that Moscow 5 can have a good showing, but I know for sure that PR can. So good luck to the Power Rangers and to the Moscow 5 guys as they head over there for the Synergy LAN Finals. Captain's Draft, XMG, oh my gosh. XMG OMG is what I should say there. As they've hit $250,000 in their prize pool, which, that's a lot of cheddar. Right now, Team Secret sitting pretty. They've got 14 games in the pocket, 10 points on hand, 10 wins, 4 losses. But Virtus Pro and Tinker are thinking about giving them a run. The surprising one here is Virtus Pro, who's got 10 games in hand and already 8 points. So they've got... I should say done, because there's 4 games in hand on Team Secret with no points put up whatsoever. So as long as they win 2 of those 4 games, they tie up Team Secret moving forward. Team Tinker's in a similar position. They got to win 3 of their next 4 games. So Secret is comfortable-ish, and they now have to pick and choose, like, manage their winning system. But Virtus Pro and Team Tinker, not far off the pace. EG, I think the big surprise of the tournament, is got 10 games played and is 5-5 in terms of win and loss ratio. So their ability to get back into this game and take first place, not so great. And honestly, you know, when we talk to the manager and the guys from EG, their philosophy was, let's have a good time with this tournament, when it was $75,000. Now it's $250,000. And everyone's sort of really rushing to get back on top of that list. So Secret Team got to be pretty happy with what looks like a huge payday coming down the pipeline for them. Next piece, last piece of tournament news that I've got for you guys today is an update on the Dota Pit League. Now, I brought this up because this is the most, I would say, under-the-radar tournament, besides maybe Synergy, but with much bigger teams that's going on right now. I mean, this is Secret, Cloud9, EG, all of the big dogs, Alliance, everybody but pretty much Na'Vi is represented in this tournament. And we don't even talk about it, ever. Maybe it's because the prize pool is small. Maybe it's just because they have a lesser-known casting team. But at the end of the day, it is sad that it doesn't get more coverage. So we're bringing it up here. Quick updates for you. EG in the Group A is doing really well. Okay, they've got 12 played and 9 points. Complexity is right behind them by a point, and the reason for that is Complexity took 2 games off of EG this week, which is pretty impressive for the Complexity guys. We had Swindle on the show. He told us how hard they've been working to take on the boys, and EG caught off guard, man, with some good plays by Complexity, who took down some really nice wins against them. The other belle of the ball, though, the potential belle here, is Virtus Pro. Again, in this tournament, doing a lot better than in others. They've got 8 games played, but 7 points on hand. That means that they're still 4 games short of EG and Complexity, but only need 2 points to get themselves into that top mix of Group A. So once again, Virtus Pro, slow playing maybe, getting their stuff together, but performing really well when they do play for this tournament. Wow, I didn't realize. So SNA won a best against EG as well. Interesting. Getting that off of the chat. I didn't realize that. So lots of upsets going on in all these tournaments. 4 anchors, probably the biggest disappointment. 8 games played, 2 points. M5, like I said, not surprised to see them. Or PR, kind of struggling to keep up with Group A, which is a strong group. Group B, however, is also sort of interesting to me. Now, when you look at the roster on Group B, you see that Team Secret and Cloud9 are 3 and 4 respectively. Now, they've played the least amount of games in this tournament. They've played 6 games. They've won 5 of those games. So the fact of the matter is they're ranked 3rd and 4th with half of the number of games as the other teams have already played, which means that MYI and Empire, who are sitting at the top of the Group B list, will almost certainly get knocked down to the bottom in due time. Cloud9 and Secret have to win 1 more game to take over those top spots, so they'll be in a good position. Sneaknix Assassins has played 8, only carried 2, but I think those 8 were up against the big dogs, so we should see them go up against some of the lower tier teams, possibly move up that list. But Secret and Cloud9 most likely to advance against EG, and what looks like it'll probably be Complexity Dota as the Dota Pit finals grow ever closer. Alright, so that's it for tournament news. Now, there's 2 other pieces of news that qualify as other news that we need to talk about very briefly today so that you know what's going on. First and foremost, a new comic was released. Inside of it, they revealed the new hero that will be coming, and I've air quoted that will be coming to Dota 2, and that is the Oracle. She was in Dota 1. She has all kinds of really annoying skills. The community's generally saying she's not too overpowered. It's about 76% on a poll on Join Dota that she will dominate pubs, and 50% saying she's a little too powerful for Captain's Mode. But we'll find out once we get there. She's got some really interesting skills. False Promise, the most interesting to me. I haven't played it before, but basically it alters the target's destiny and delays all damage, healing, and regeneration effects on them until the spell ends. The ally is granted invisibility while attacking and moving, and it removes all negative status effects when applied. So it could be a very interesting skill to cast, especially on, man, there's a lot of heroes, like a Wraith King would be really cool to have that on, just because he can kind of tear you apart while you're invisible. Would not be bad to see a PA pick up something like that. So very interesting. And we'll see exactly. Actually, it won't work with WK's regeneration. That's not. This is not an analysis show, so we'll skip that. But I look forward to seeing her. I can't help myself, trying already to understand this hero more and more. But here's the most interesting piece of news in other for me. And if you don't read the New Yorker, that's probably because you're not a billionaire. But at the end of the day, the New Yorker, a very big magazine in the financial as well as social arena, has released an article called Good Game. On the front and center of the magazine is esports. So it profiles Scarlet, the StarCraft 2 heroine, who does very well for herself in tournaments, but it also mentions Dota 2 and some other games. Huge article all about esports. Definitely a great read. I'd recommend checking it out because, hey, those kinds of things bring us more exposure, which means more potential for all of us to grow the industry. Now, my name, no, that's it, guys. That's all the news that I have for you. It's a short show. We don't have a guest, so keep that radio format intact. I appreciate you watching. My name is Toffees. As always, you can find me at Toffees_Dota2. And like I said, if you want to keep the show growing, keep it grassroots, let me do this without sponsors. Head over to patreon.com/Toffees. Contribute whatever you want, whether it's kind words or $1. Every little bit helps as we keep the show growing hand over hand, day after day. So enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Come back on Wednesday. We'll be here with some brand new stuff for you. So have a great afternoon, and as always, Toffees out.